Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me wherever you are joining me. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the YouTube channel, you know what to do. Like and subscribe. If you're joining me on Facebook, make sure you are following the page. We appreciate all the love. I'm wearing blue today. For you people who are listening to the podcast, I am wearing my Carolina blue today. And even though the Tar Heels did not win last night, and yes, I say it like this: they did not win. There's going to be a lot of narratives painted, and so I might as well get mine out here right now. I am and have been a North Carolina basketball fan for as long as I've been playing basketball that actually means something. So, as much as I love the Fab Five and what they did, by the time I got to high school, or heck, not even high school, by the time I got to junior high school, it was North Carolina basketball for me. When I remember Stack and Rasheed, that was kind of it wasn't when my fandom began. I started following North Carolina back in the early, well, not early, but early back in the Jordan, Sam Perkins days. And but it wasn't until I got into the point where I started thinking about basketball in terms of me and me playing that I really took an investment in it, from a spectator standpoint. And that was, junior high, where I was following Stack and Sheed, and then the Vince Carter years, Vince Carter, Antoine Jameson, that entire squad where they had six starters. They would just rotate them around. I say that to say that losing one game is not going to make me stop liking North Carolina basketball. But I also need to let it be known, North Carolina lost that game. They blew that game. And I'll talk about it more this evening on our Zebra Stripes podcast with Coach Witt and I. So I won't bore you all with it right now, but not happy with that loss. That should not have been a loss. It should not have been a loss. And yes, I'm not even going to say I don't want to take anything away from Kansas, but you know what? I'm going to take something away from Kansas. That should not have been a loss. Bottom line. And when you lose games that you're not supposed to lose in the regular season, which is what North Carolina did all year, was lose games they were not supposed to lose, you can bounce back and correct. But when you lose a game in the championship that you're not supposed to lose because you're up 15 at halftime, and the formula has been written on how to beat this team, and you lose it because all of a sudden you forget your identity, that's a big problem. It's a gigantic problem. So North Carolina lost that game. Kansas did not win it. North Carolina lost it. And yes, this is a diminishing of the championship to Kansas. I'm not going to act as if I'm not saying that. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Kansas should not have won that game. Now that I've said that, they did win it. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters in the grand scheme of things. That team didn't give up. That team never quit. That team was given an opening, and they took it. They were given an opening. And once they were given that opening, they walked through the door and took the title, right? Hey, you going to let me have it? Okay, I'll take it. If you're going to let me have it, then I'll take it. That's how that works. And with it, I know this is going to sound really weird, but Bill Self elevates himself to another level, right? Because when I was doing research on everything, that was going on, when I was doing research on all the different, Final Four teams and the coaches, I wrote a column about it along with my gene therapy. The NCAA tournament is the coaches are everything. Make sure you check that out on CWN Sports. I was looking at the coaches, and I realized that while Self has been a dominant figure in college basketball in his time with Illinois and then with Kansas, that he had not actually won many titles. Outside of the one title that he hadn't won any more titles. So for him to cross over from the one into the two puts him in a different category. See, again, like I was saying yesterday with Don Staley and their championship, when you win one, they can call it a fluke. They can say you caught lightning in the bottle. But when you win two, no. That's not how this thing works. When you win two, they have to give you credit. And I know. Bill Self's a Hall of Famer. So what does he need validation from? Well, yeah, he does, because even within the Hall of Fame, there's levels to this, right? I was going into the game saying Jay Wright has the argument as the better coach. Why? Because he's been able to get it done twice. And he's been able to get it done at Villanova. Whereas at Kansas, that's where the game was popped up at, right? So when Bill Self only has one with the resources that he has, and Jay Wright has two, I gotta give the weight to Jay Wright. But now Bill Self has two. He has two. And unless he wins it and all of a sudden decides to, he's going to get a chance to win another. And when you get into the two, now you're in a different category. If you get the three, now they start talking about you in the all-time great pantheon. Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. Don't get me wrong. He's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, Jay Wright's a Hall of Famer, or else he will be if he hasn't already gone in. He will be. But when you get that last one, when you get that third one, not last one, but when you get that third one, you jump into a level of multiple time champions. That's a really, really small group. That's an extremely small group. That's a handful of people. That's a different level. And now Bill Self is one championship away from that. On the flip side of that, Hubert Davis had a chance to hit the cheat code on the button, right? He had a chance to win a championship in his first year, which would have brought immense levels of pressure going on from here. Because if you win it in your first year, guess what? People just expect you to win it every year. Well, if he could win it in his first year, where he doesn't even have all of his players, where he's still getting his philosophy in place, well, then now that he has all that, he should win it every year. So he didn't take advantage of that, because one championship puts you in a category, right? You can have all the wins in the world, but if you're not winning championships, people just go, oh, okay, well, he's a good regular season coach. So that part. But he didn't get it done. Didn't get it done. He's going to have to take a lot of blame for this one too, because they did not look the same in the second half. And when and it was really telling to me that when the game was on the line, he wasn't the guy drawing it up. Nope. He wasn't the guy drawing it up. So then, what are you? What are you? It's basketball, man. This ain't football. It's college basketball. Same football. What are you? It's gonna be a lot of questions asked. It's gonna be a lot of questions asked, and it's gonna need a lot of answers. And I don't know who has the answers. I don't know who's gonna be able to make it make sense. But it doesn't make sense to me right now. And North Carolina really, really, really let one go. I didn't even want to talk yet. I just shut down Twitter last night. The moment the game was over, I was like, all right, y'all, peace out. I'll talk to y'all in the morning. Did not want to speak on it last night. But I'll have plenty to say on it on our Zebra Strikes podcast. You can believe it. There was a trade between the Philadelphia Eagles and the New Orleans Saints. A bunch of picks from them went this way for a bunch of picks for them. But basically what you really need to know is that the Eagles sent their 2 first-round picks this year, or sent 2. I don't know if it's only 2. I can't remember. But they sent 2 first-round picks this year to the Saints for 1 first-round pick this year. And it's weird because on both sides of this trade, people said this was a trade for quarterbacks. And I'm just convinced that people like being stupid. They like playing stupid because they want their narratives to fit, right? Since the moment Jalen Hurts has been named the starting quarterback over Carson Wentz, who's been a train wreck ever since, the narrative has been to try to get Jalen Hurts out of there as a quarterback. And so at every single turn, people are painting narratives that have Jalen Hurts losing his job, which I find to be ridiculous, right? Let's think about it this way. So if Philadelphia was trading their 2 first-round picks this year for a first-round pick next year, the argument would be they're doing that so that they have a couple bites at the apple next year for a quarterback, because it's supposed to be a deeper quarterback class. But that is predicated on believing that the Eagles are not going to be competitive this year. At worst, they're going to end up, at worst, an 8-9 team. That's not going to net you a top pick. It's not going to net you a top 10, maybe not even a top 15 pick. So their pick's not going to be where they need it to be in order to get one of those elite level quarterbacks that could be, for the taking next year. They're going to end up at a level where they're going to have to ask themselves, is that guy actually better than Jalen? The answer is going to be no. The other pick that they're going to get from New Orleans, maybe they expect New Orleans to implode and have a horrible season. Dude, they have Jameis Winston, who, for whatever you want to say, is a really good quarterback. He's a really good quarterback who last time we saw him had 14 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, maybe 3. So what they did was they traded to get another first-round pick this year. People are saying that was for a quarterback. That doesn't make any sense, because where they're picking at, you're not going to get a quarterback. And there's no quarterback in this draft that's better than Jameis Winston. Willis has better athleticism. A couple other guys might run faster, but overall quarterback play, There's no Jameis Winstons in this draft. And quiet as it's kept, there's no there's no Jameis Winstons in next year's draft either. So what New Orleans is doing, they're not doing this in order to set themselves up for a quarterback. They're doing this to put talent around the quarterback that they have. You think those coaches that just took over want to just be sacrificial lambs, have a 1 year and then get booted? No, they're trying to keep their job. They are not in rebuild mode. The rest of that team around them, that's a win now team. So expect them to go wide receiver, offensive line, most likely tackle. Expect them to go tackle receiver with those first two. Maybe even receiver. They're not here to rebuild. They're here to reload and retool. That's why they're not playing we're going to put that tight end at quarterback game anymore. It's Jameis's game, brother. Don't look at the short deal that he signed. Look at the money that they're giving him in the short deal. Then take a step back and look at what they're going to have to give him when he puts up 40-plus touchdowns and 10 interceptions. They're going to have to pay him bread. So, hey, if we don't have a first-round pick next year, cool, because we probably won't have the cap space for him anyway. These things are not built for quarterbacks. These teams are trying to win right now. They just watched the Bengals go from worst to the Super Bowl. They just watched the Bengals go from worst to the Super Bowl because they added one significant player. They had the quarterback in place. They added a receiver who was a difference maker, and they were off to the races. You don't think these other teams aren't seeing that and going, man, we may be 1 or 2 pieces away as well? The time for building in a 2 to 3 year span is foolhardy because as coaches, you only have 2 to 3 years to get it right before they're firing you. So why on earth would Philadelphia follow up a playoff berth with trying to rebuild and get ready for a draft in year 3, where if they show a lesser return in year 2, year 3 they're on the hot seat? You think they're going to get a chance to sit through the reset? No, GMs get a chance to do that, not coaches. You think that New Orleans wants to sit around and lose? Those coaches want to sit around and lose, then watch them go out and pay some other coach to come in and then add pieces to that coach's team in order to give him a chance to win? No, they want to win now. So many of you are so busy trying to get these quarterbacks that don't look like you out of here that you're willing to look stupid. I don't know why. Yet nobody really talks about some of the guys that it's probably time to move on from, like Daniel Jones. It's probably time to move on from Daniel Jones. It's perfect timing. New coaching staff. No reason to pull him over as a holdover. I told you the clock's ticking. Yet we don't really talk about it. Nobody mocks a quarterback to the Giants. I've been watching it happen for years now. No one ever mocks a quarterback to the Giants, but they keep mocking one to Philly. They keep mocking one to the Saints. How? Are you guys not paying attention? This is a win now game. And the ones who are not trying to win now, guess what they look like? They look like the Jaguars. They look like the Jets. Ta-da! That's how it works. You want to do everything in your power to not run your organization like the Jaguars and Jets run their organization. Yeah, I said it. Organizations that are run well, they don't rebuild. They don't rebuild. The Bills were a playoff team that purposely took a step back to build what they felt would be sustainable, right? But if it doesn't end in a championship, then it was stupid. All you did was just something to keep the fans happy. And because fans are sheep, because we'll just follow it if you tell us it's brand new and shiny and we don't really look into it when we're in our fandom, we allow you to pull this wool over our eyes and lead us to believe that just being in the playoffs is enough. We'll see. I know one thing. Ain't no quarterback coming to Philly unless they're a backup. There ain't no quarterback coming to New Orleans unless they're a backup. Those guys are set, and they're certainly not using first-round picks on one. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Talk Spicy. I'm Gene Clemens. We do this thing every day. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe. If you're joining me on Facebook, make sure that you are following the page. Till tomorrow, peace.